me, and he called me to make sure I was okay.
Vincent Marco Trigiano is grateful to be accepted in the Senior Meals Program.
At this time, we'll open up the meeting for the Garden Grove City Council meeting. We'll have a prayer by Susan Emery, and then we will, invocation, let me get it right, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Invocation by Susan Emery, and then the flag salute will be led to us by Chris Baird.
Dear God, we gather to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us, and always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. Amen.
Please face the flag and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our great nation. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We had a study session going through the budget this earlier on, and it was pretty good. I wish more outsiders had been there to see it. I mean, it was open to everybody. Then we had a closed session, and we come to some decisions that we brought on the next city council meeting, that we listed on the next city council meeting. Okay, and at this time, do we have any presentations?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like Susan Emery to make the presentation this evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight we are pleased to publicly recognize and thank the 3 winners of the Main Street Logo Contest and give them their well-deserved prizes. Would Karina Dan, Tony Rivera, and Ira Mapaye please come forward? Can you see it for that? These designs were chosen as first, second, and third place by the members serving on the Main Street Commission. The Commissioner's top pick, designed by first place winner Karina Dan, will soon be seen on 40 concrete posts or bollards lining Main Street. And I think Karina has the tile there for you to see. Karina is receiving a $200 cash prize with a gift basket donated by the police department. And we have a prize for her. Tony is receiving a $100 cash prize.
Thank you.
And Ira is receiving a $50 cash prize and a gift card to Doug's Downtown Grill on Main Street. We'd like to thank the sponsors of the logo contest, and they are Scott and Rebecca Weimer, Husheng Faramon, and Doug Coleman. The Main Street logo contest was part of the city's Reimagine Downtown campaign, which launched last August with an online forum seeking greater input on how to make the Civic Center a better place. The bollards will be designed and constructed by Public Works staff and are one way to enhance a treasured part of our Civic Center, historic Main Street. The bollards will aid drivers' visibility, increase pedestrian safety, and by May of this year, bear a new permanent logo. Congratulations to all three of our winners.
Maybe you come on up here so we can get a picture. And I'd like you to show that tile to the audience so we can see what you did. Up here, up here.
Oh, no, up there. They didn't hear me say. Yeah, look, this is for the press release, guys.
Do you have any cards there?
A couple more.
Let me have them, please. Okay, at this time, we'll go to oral communication. And Canal Payne, is that correct?
Kindle.
Kendall.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. On behalf of the 26,000 cast members of the Disneyland Resort, I am Kendall Payne. I'm here with my colleague, Rick Morris, and we are pleased to announce the Avengers Superheroes Half Marathon Race Weekend, November 14th through 16th. It will include a kids race, 5K, half marathon, and a health and fitness expo. Run Disney, one of the largest race organizations in the nation, hosts a series of 8 bi-coastal event weekends, providing runners unique opportunities to run various distances through Disney theme parks. The Avengers Half Marathon Weekend will be the 3rd Run Disney event at the Disneyland Resort, joining our Tinkerbell Half Marathon Weekend over Mother's Day and the Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend over Labor Day. But the Avengers Half Marathon course will be a new 13.1-mile route through the Disneyland Resort and surrounding areas, including your fine city of Garden Grove. The Avengers event is expected to be in high demand, much like other Run Disney race weekends, which have sold out in record time in recent years. Overall, Run Disney race weekends attracted more than 164,000 runners last year, a 40% increase over the previous year, making Run Disney series one of the largest in the nation. Run Disney races provide a huge economic impact to the community. It is estimated that the original Disneyland Resort Half Marathon drives approximately $25 million in additional economic activity locally, attracting thousands of out-of-the-area runners to Orange County. Registration opens March 25th at rundisney.com. We hope that you can join us. And we have Rick Morris from our Run Disney team here to answer any questions that you may have on the upcoming event. Thank you.
Rick, how many do you anticipate this year?
Well, we'll be over 10,000, that's for sure, but we'll have to wait till we open registration on the 25th and see how many we actually have registered and how many actually started.
Now, do you advertise this in running newspapers and stuff like that, or?
It's Runner's World and other publications.
Any questions?
What's the website for the registration?
RunDisney.com.
Thank you. That's easy enough.
Easy enough.
Yes. Are you going to run?
I think I'll be a little busy that day, but maybe we have some council members who might want to run. And some
We
others.
ran, and when there was the 50th anniversary of the city of Garden Grove, was it the 50th anniversary, we put on a,
5K.
what?
A 5K.
5K. It wasn't anything like you're putting on, but I ran it.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good
so
for
it went
you.
one into the other, so. Anyway, well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming out and broadcasting this, and we'll hope that whoever takes that trophy comes from Garden Grove.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Might be Councilmember Fun.
What's that?
Greg Duffy,
My brother.
you're going to go first this night. We bypassed you over there, so we will not bypass you here.
Trying to help the city.
Trying to help the city.
That's the honest truth.
Just pay more taxes.
Contributing, as Sacramento Bee says, it's up to all of us, the Honorable Mayor and Council, staff. In here, there is a series of documents. I don't have time in the 3 minutes to go over everything in terms of verbiage. I would like to give you the heads up to opportunity to the State of California Transportation Commission, March 20th. Supposedly Brian Kelly will be there. Lorenthal will be there. They are going to vote on number 2 and 3 agenda for STIP funding for page 7 for police departments education awareness as an example. 3 is the resolution for complete streets, active transportation living. That's all part of your packet. I'd like to ask you to agendize for the public service announcements to support our police department of Garden Grove and Orange County for distracted driving. We've had 40% increase in hit and runs in California, according to the State Transportation Commission staff. I think we have an issue that, example was First Street in Bristol, the girl was hit twice, and then they took the backpack. I think we have a problem. The next thing is I'm asking with the Transportation Commission just to emphasize your state traffic commission. I want to be put on the agenda and to discuss the things I've been wanting to address to you, Mayor, that have not been responded to, respectfully. I have here 2 requests, resolutions, one for complete streets and the other one is for distracted driving. Also, you have in the document that I forgot to mention, Southern Cal Government Agencies has a proposed resolution to go before the board. I think it speaks to what I've been saying with Shell Martinez of Santa Ana Newport. That is in your draft here. You can propose to read, and it says the same thing I'm saying pretty much. I think we need to support these issues so we can move forward to fund our law enforcement, to fund like OCTA had with Irvine, Newport Beach, San Clemente, got federal funds for bike trails. This is something Garden Grove desperately needs, and we need to engage. Our staff needs to come on board and embrace these things because this, according to the State Transportation Commission, it's brand new funds, $130 million a year. It's the California 2025 Commission. AB something, I've got it in here, that is funding our alternative transportation, and I think Honorable Steve Jones knows all about that, and I'd like to see the council get 100% behind it and support our police department. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Matt, could you get Bill to come in a minute? Oh, sure. Okay, next we're going with Josh McIntosh.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents, staff. I'm proud to say that this year I will once again be a volunteer judge for our annual Garden Grove Pride Awards. This year they're held on June 9th, and each year we select the most well-kept and attractive homes and businesses. We celebrate them. We award them for their unique contribution to our city and recognize them as a source of pride. I'm certain that many of our residents and the city staff that drive here to work do appreciate them and may be inspired to take on new landscaping projects or maybe do some touch-up painting at their own home. These residencies and businesses are doing their part to keep the garbage out of the Grove. One of the most important qualifying factors is that they must be a traditional standalone business, not a commercial center, or a single-family home, not a condo complex. So let's talk about that. Does this program actually support the idea that Garden Grove still loves its single-family homes? Does this support the same vision of our city that so many post-World War II families saw when this became the fastest growing city in the nation? We were building a nice-sized home with quality material and neighbors that had some space between themselves. We had a Mayberry-type suburbia. Well, it seems today we're just heading towards a lot more urban jungle with high-density projects springing up each year. I'm concerned that we're adding too many vehicles, creating too many congested roads, too many more students per classrooms, too much strain on our emergency services and to our utilities. I was disappointed to learn that Planning Commission the other night, the Brookhurst Triangle is going to bring 674 new condominiums and apartments at the end of Stanford and Brookhurst. I will be avoiding that more than I've avoided it in the past. I know it was an eyesore before, but the magnitude of these condos is just going to be creating so many new people on the roads. That's already a terribly congested area, and for us residents in the area, we can now expect a lot of people driving through our streets. I'm just hoping that the council will consider the residents aren't asking for things of this size and to overcrowd us so much. We love Garden Grove for our single-family homes, for a nice yard, a place for kids to play. We don't want to be crammed in like rats. These projects are just popping up and popping up, and we are just letting you know they're not that cool. We don't celebrate them in Garden Grove Pride because there's no pride in them. So think about that. And on a positive note, if you guys don't know where to go yet for St. Patrick's Day, I have some suggestions. Next Monday, above all, check out the Globe's Irish Pizza. It's a mustard-based sauce instead of a tomato sauce with corned beef on it, and it's really, really, really good. There's a lot of things going on Main Street for St. Patty's Day. Doug's has got some great specials, so come on out and support your local businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill, could you, I knew you were getting ready to make some comments on the construction at Valley View. Could you make some comments right now? I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In July of 2013, the council awarded a construction contract to Sully Miller for $4.7 million to reconstruct Valley View Street from the SR-22 to the northerly city limits. The construction was delayed at the request of OCTA basically to accommodate the West County Connectors project, which was running a little bit behind schedule for one particular part of its work and still detouring traffic through Valley View. The project began major work in mid-September. As we went through our holiday season, the project was shut down for 5 weeks to honor Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we have experienced some rain delays, accounting for about 20 days of delay on the major construction activities. These delays have pushed the completion date of the project to the end of June. Currently, the contractor is working on the median irrigation while the excavations on Valley View dry out. They're pretty wet, and we cannot get heavy equipment back onto them. At this particular point, we're about 60% complete with all of the work. The following is this kind of a schedule of what we are looking forward to once we're able to get back to work. And that is that all southbound lanes on Valley View between Lamson and the freeway will be base paved by the end of March. The Lamson intersection is wet and work is delayed at this point. We were looking at doing some special construction there to speed up opening the intersection, but we're not able to do that right now. The intersection is open for traffic, though. The northbound lanes on Valley View between the freeway and Lamson will be base paved by May 9th of this year. Kind of backtracking a bit, from April to June, to the middle of June, the contractor will be placing the surface course or the final cap of asphalt on any area that has already had its base paving completed. And we will, after that is done, be able to address all the utility covers, which is like sewer manholes, bring up the water valves and those types of covers to grade, and then continue to construct the interior of the median hardscape and landscaping. And of course, the final work of the project will be installing the traffic loops and the traffic striping. And we expect by the end of June that Valley View will be completely open to traffic. Some caveats on that, of course, are going to be any utility conflicts that we manage to encounter from now through the base paving of the project, and if we have any more inclement weather. I do have some additional information on some things that we're working with to try and speed up the project, if you'd like to hear that.
I'd like to hear that.
Okay. We've been working with the contractor and our police department to improve the traffic flow and the safety in the area by placing 2 radar speed trailers, the radar signs with the speed on them. One is located on Blackmere, and the second is on St. Mark. And police are out enforcing the speed laws in the area, so the residents should be aware of that. Another thing that I kind of alluded to previously was trying to get through our major intersections a little bit faster. We've gotten our base paving done at Valley View and Chapman, and we were able to speed that up by constructing what we know is a deep lift pavement, where we basically just, instead of using the base material, which has to set up because it's got concrete in it, we just used asphalt for the entire depth, and that trimmed, for each one of the passes, about 7 days off of the curing time. We're looking to also do that at Lamson, but it's very wet there right now, and that may prevent us from doing it. If we're able to, we will. And that will definitely shave some time off of the construction and provide a good impact for the residents because the intersections are really well traveled. The traffic, if it gets too bad in a particular area, if we have any particular operations that are very traffic intensive, we're going to be working close with PD and be able to bring in an officer to direct traffic at any of these intersections if something should happen that really backs traffic up. Other areas of concern are the dust control. This is a very touchy issue because any additional water that we add really will affect the base material, and we're trying to stay away from placing additional water into the base material of that road because it's just so bad. Any additional water in that sub-base turns that dirt basically into jelly. And that's kind of the situation that we have now with that rain. If you take a large piece of equipment and drive by, you can see the road deflect underneath the wheels.
Is the water problem because the depth of the water table? I mean, it's very high out there.
It's very high up there, and the type of soil out there is very difficult to work with. The rains really came at a horrible time, to be quite frank. And we're having to wait right now for that area to dry out. And like I said, with dust control, if we add any additional water other than the minimum to keep the dust down, then you run the risk of saturating that subbase even more and turning it into jelly. So we're going to be lenient on that, but we're definitely understand the concerns of the residents and the local business owners with the dust. We've also offered the contractor the ability to work on the weekends. To a certain extent, they've taken advantage of that a couple times. But them, like everybody else, most of their contracts and everything that they deal with their employees runs 5 days a week. So getting them, even though we've offered the ability for them to work on Saturday, they've been sparse in taking us up on it. But we have made that offer, and those are the things that we've are working on right now to try and speed this particular project up. And that's all I have to report on.
Okay, thank you very much. Sit still. You might be some questions for you. Fred Free.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Fred Free, and I think you remember me from a couple weeks ago. I came and spoke on the issue at Valley View. From a different perspective on what was just reported, I live in the area. On Tuesday, the 4th of March, we had a one-lane closure northbound a two-lane closure northbound on Valley View. It would take 6 to 8 minutes from Belgrave to Chapman, which is about 120 yards. Okay? From Lamson down to Chapman, it took 16 minutes. I went down there and timed it. The lane reduction, there was no additional support there to help direct. There was no additional signage saying that maybe detour, go down Lamson to get around it. There were issues there. There was a gridlock at Belgrave. So after that all happened, I kind of looked to see what was going on and why there were delays. The rain, yeah, we had the big rain a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that did create a problem there. But for the most part, it's pretty dry, and it's been pretty dry since that program started. The 20 days delay, I'm no engineer, but I don't know what would cost 20 days out there of delay. The negative impact on the businesses there. I went to 12 different businesses right on the corner of Valley View and Chapman. And they invite you guys to come out and talk to them to see how much damage has been done to their businesses. They were very candid with me, and not knowing me, they shared that anywhere from 15 to 40% reduction in income for those people. There's a couple of places that are barely hanging on. Their words, not mine. They have laid off people. They have cut back hours because of the lack of traffic flow. And at Christmas time, the driveways going into Vaughn's and everything, they were blocked off. They couldn't get into them except the farthest north entrance. They could get in there, but it became a very congestive area. So there was a big issue there. Vaughn's itself would tell me they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. The bike shop, they've lost tens of thousands of dollars. And again, these are not my numbers. I wrote it on the back of the cards of the people that I talked to find out what was going on. They are just tired of it. We're tired of it. We got a brand new Ace Hardware store that's going in there, or that is in there. They're waiting for their grand opening. They're concerned. The doctors' offices that are in there, one was impacted heavily, the other one wasn't. So we've had a lot of issues, and that's kind of the different perspective I'm trying to bring in, is not only is it the inconvenience to the community there, but it's also what's going on to the businesses there. And it's a big impact. I've been here for 40 years. I've lived in that particular area for 39. So I know what's going on in that area, and I'd like to see it stay as efficient as we can. The biggest impact that we're seeing is the traffic being diverted over to Springdale. The traffic that's going down there, and we've got the two schools that are just on the other side of Lamson that they're having problems with. The crossing guards, they are having near misses. I've been there. I walk my dog every day, and I go through there. There's near misses, especially in the morning when everybody's going to work, because everybody cuts through. You did mention Blackmere. Blackmere is an issue over there. They did put the speed trailer there, but it's not really helping. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it because I wanted to come here and talk like I knew what I was talking about and not just throwing things out. But we got some issues over there. The traffic, when they close it down, especially over by Lamson, it gets so congested in front of the mobile station there that it just takes so much time. Lamson, when you go east for 3 weeks, the one lane has been taken away. You have a left turn and you have a right-hand turn lane. The center lane there has been blocked for no reason. We're not delaying any work on Lamson. We're not doing any work on Lamson, but there's no traffic that's able to get through there. So we've got issues there. Back on Chapman, from time to time, it's not all the time, but you can have as many as 30 cars backed up going eastbound, coming out of the shopping center there where the post office is. So we've got major issues over there. And we just would, again, would like some attention given that area. I hope, like heck, that there's no major accident there or somebody gets hit because of it, especially on Springdale. Springdale is a very active street, especially in the morning with all the kids going to school. And we really need you to look at it. I appreciate you addressing it tonight, because I asked that last time I was here. It seems like you did do that. I do appreciate that. But from my perspective, it's a lot different than what was reported. And from the business community there, they are hurting. They are really hurting. I know Carl's changed their hours a little bit. A couple of the stores there haven't been impacted. Goodyear and that, they're doing okay because they have different accounts. But a lot of the other ones that depend on the convenience of people driving in there, they are getting hurt. And so them being hurt, they are also telling me that they've asked their landlords to give them a break during this time to reduce their rent there. So there are a lot of issues. But again, they asked me to pass on to you. They said, well, thank you for stopping by, but please pass on an invite to the council and everybody else to stop by and ask us what's going on. We need the help. And so I just want to report on that real quick. Not real quick, I took up your time, but the other issue that I do want to talk about is the work there. There's been a couple times you go by 12:30-ish in the afternoon, nobody's there working. I mean, nobody's there. I mean, we've all skated. I skated when I worked and everything else like that. But I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when you see what's going on and when there's nobody around. And there's areas that they can work on. It's just a troubling situation over there. And again, beating a dead horse, Springdale scares me with the amount of traffic that's going there. So with that, I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Stephen Lambert.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Stephen Lambert, and I'm here to represent the Garden Grove Drug-Free Coalition.
Garden Grove what coalition?
Drug-Free.
Drug-Free Coalition.
Yeah. So why I'm here is I'd like to invite you all to our upcoming reality party for parents. It's the second annual one, coming up on April 5th. So what this free event is basically showing parents and community members the real consequences of underage drinking and drug abuse. We set up a house like a typical party, and then we walk parents through it. And when they're in there, they kind of see these scenes, these vignettes that are portrayed by teen actors. They're basically acting out a teen party. And, you know, when the tour starts, it starts with the drinking games, and the kids are kind of messing around. But by the end, you really see the darker side. You see the kinds of serious and dangerous things that can happen at a teen party. And then after the tour, the parents sit down and we facilitate kind of a discussion, a group discussion with them on teen parties, on substance abuse and prevention strategies. And last year's event was a great success. This is our second annual one. We had about 100 participants, which was great, including council members Chris Beard and Chris Fan, so thank you for coming out. And Garden Grove Channel 3 was there, as was the Register. I included the Register article, so you can check it out. So Councilmember Beard actually already registered for a 2:45 p.m. tour. I invite all of you to join us. The list of tours is actually on the handout I provided. It's a great opportunity to just sit down and dialogue with the citizens of Garden Grove and have a conversation with them. So to register, and if anyone's watching at home, you can also register, go online to the Garden Grove Drug-Free Coalition's website, which is www.ggdfc.org, and then you can click a link that says Reality Party, and then you can reserve your free ticket. My contact information is also on the handout if you have any questions, but I hope you guys will all be able to join us.
Mr. Lambert, we have a question for you.
Yes.
Is this adults only, and if it's not, do you suggest teenagers?
Right. Well, for this event in particular, we're asking for adults only, for parents, because we have to be careful about the kinds of information that we present to youth and the way that we present it. But yeah, any adults in the community are welcome.
Do you have other events where teens can come?
We actually go out and we do educational workshops for teens, but at this event, it's mainly for adults. But the teens will actually be the ones doing the production, so they'll be acting out the scenes and handling a lot of the nuts and bolts of the event. So it's actually kind of a cool event for the teens.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John Wildsmith.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, staff, and citizens of Garden Grove. My name is John Wildsmith. I'm a board member of the Garden Grove Neighbourhood Association. I'm also speaking on my own behalf, of course. The fate of the west side parking lot of Main Street has been up in the balance for a long, long time now, and it really is about time that some decisions were made as to whether it belongs to Mr. Sheldon or whether it doesn't. Mr. Sheldon seems to think that he has exclusive rights to that. On the other hand, we understand that it's in the jurisdiction of the Housing Authority at the moment. The point is, at this point in time, nobody seems to be able to fix their lives on the future because of this indecision. I've spoken to most of the business owners in Main Street, and a lot of them are quite panicky, not knowing whether to invest anything else at all in their own business or in the street itself. A lot of them seem to think that they've been neglected by the city, that the city isn't doing anything to help them. Also, the Neighbourhood Association, we have a lot of events, projects, festivities planned for Main Street to bring a lot more foot traffic into the street to help, number one, help the businesses to remain in Main Street, and also to preserve historic Main Street. I've spoken of history before there, and we've knocked a hell of a lot of Garden Grove down 30, 35 years ago. This is all we have left now. The problem is nobody seems to know where the truth lies. And it is about time that the citizens of Garden Grove did know. There is a groundswell of opinion, almost demand by so many people now in Garden Grove to really preserve Main Street. What we would like to do at the Neighbourhood Association is to have a meeting, an informal meeting with Miss Emery, Mr. Fatal, maybe Mr. Nixon, to sit down and see if we can actually come up with the truth, to find out who owns that plot of land, can we preserve it, or what do we do about it, because there's no point in people investing more in Main Street. There's no point in us wasting our time thinking of all the projects for Main Street if it's a hopeless case. So we would certainly like some cooperation from the city. I don't know whether that would be the staff, the council, or who, but we'd love to be able to sit down with you around the table, thrash this thing out, and come up with a conclusion that we can put on our website and on our Facebook page to let the citizens know that Main Street is going to be saved and the parking lot is going to be saved. You can't have one without the other. And so that we can really start to build what is the gem in the crown of Garden Grove. This is all we have left now of historic Garden Grove. So I thank you very much for your time.
Do you think that the Historical Society doesn't believe that they have something in the old Garden Grove there?
Well, certainly they do.
Well, that's not the only thing. Main Street's not the only thing, is it?
No, you're right, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'm glad to be right.
Right. You're always right. Thank you.
Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff. First of all, I want to congratulate the winners of our logo contest. I think we come up with a beautiful design that's going to look great on those bollards on Main Street. I'm looking forward to seeing those being installed. I don't know what the deadline is to start constructing them, but I think they'll really look good, especially with those tiles on both sides. On that note, as far as Main Street, I am concerned that so far the report is that the project on the west side is only delayed. There is no definite ending of that project that we keep hearing, well, it may happen or it may not happen, and I really would like to see a final decision on it so that the people of Garden Grove can decide whether they agree with the city going along with that project and whether that's going to be a detriment not only to Main Street but to Garden Grove itself. Now, Craig Durfee asked the council to do something to coincide with the efforts to reduce distracted driving. Now, many times I've been driving somewhere and I've had my wife in the car with me, and some subject has come up and she has talked about something and wants me to give her an opinion on it, and before I know it, I've missed the off-ramp that I was looking for on the freeway. But that's some distraction. But cell phones are even worse. I'm not talking about just having ones that you look at. Even the ones that plug into your ear and you don't even have to look at them are still a distraction. Conversations when you're driving are a distraction. It doesn't take more than a split second to lose your ability to forestall something happening. Just that fraction of a second that it takes to put your foot on the brake can make a life and death difference. So, again, I fully support Craig Durfee in asking you to support the legislation to get the word out to people. Distracted driving is causing deaths and destruction. So, on that note, and with the prospect of Main Street getting those bollards, I kind of feel like it's wonderful that the city is putting those bollards together and we have those great logos to put on them. But at the same time, the city may be taking away the west parking lot. So it seems like the city gives and the city takes away. Blessed be the city. Thank you.
Robert Loughton.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I have a quick announcement. A gubernatorial candidate, Robert Newman, who is no party preference, will be speaking at the Garden Grove Women's Club, Garden Grove Women's Civic Club on the northeast corner of Gilbert and Chapman on the fourth Wednesday, which is March 26th. And inviting all the council members to attend, and everyone in the audience to attend. And I'd like you to visit his website and write out your questions. Your questions could be on any subject, pensions, water, whatever. And the event is being sponsored by the National Coalition for Immigration Reform, but your questions don't have to be about immigration. They can be about anything. And so I'm going to leave the flyers with your clerk here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Maureen Blackmer. Munn. That R is an N? I see that, but it's looked at.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. A couple things. You can't eat or drink at the Historical Society, but you can on Main Street. So even though we do have a museum, if you will, you can't enjoy it, you can't pick up the ambiance, you can't do anything on it. So
I think I have eaten and drank at the Historical Society.
dates and places, please.
I can't think.
Have we?
I can't think of the person's
Do they have a
wedding.
restaurant?
I can't think of the person's wedding I went to.
Okay, you get the point. Two things. One, we are going to be at Doug's on St. Patrick's Day at 5:30 to enjoy Main Street. Anybody who wants to come down, Doug says he has some kind of a menu. He couldn't supply it to us digitally, but he does have the traditional fares, and we will be there to enjoy that and see what Main Street has to offer. Anybody who wants to come down, please do. Secondly, I had one question about the notification process on the Planning Commission for last week. I know that they were short-ordered, but two people who should have been informed, I'm not within that jurisdiction, but two people who were there did not receive a notification, and it may not have changed the outcome of the meeting, but it would have made them feel a little bit better. So I'm not sure who to direct that question to. And secondly, I thought there was some confusion in terms of what the actual voting was as far as the commission went. At the outset, one of the commissioners explained that he was to vote only on the tract division, but it wasn't to do with the overall planning. So I thought there was a little bit of confusion there that maybe we could have cleared that up. Anything that's clear is always going to be a better situation. Thank you.
At this time, we will recess the city council and we will go to the successor agency.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll call the March 11th meeting of the Successor Agency to order. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Wynn?
Here.
Member Fawn?
Here.
Vice Chair Beard?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Here. We already did oral communication simultaneously with City Council, so we'll move on to consent items, basically just the warrants. Do I have a motion?
If I have a question on that, can I ask a question first? I just want to ask for clarification on number 854. That's a fairly high amount. Can someone let me know or let us know what that was for?
That's the annual lease payment. Years and years ago, as part of a settlement with the Rancho Santiago College District, the agency actually leased that building for Rancho Santiago College. Over the years, their ability to use that property was reduced, but we still had the lease, so we moved some city operations in there, like the Housing Authority and cable, et cetera. So the redevelopment agency is still the master lessee on that property through February of 2016. So that's the lease payment for the building.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have to. That's the annual lease payment?
The annual lease payment.
Okay, so is that a motion?
Yes, motion.
Second.
Called vote?
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
We have no public hearings. Items for consideration 4A.
Mr. Chairman, this item is being brought back. There were some questions at the last meeting regarding the contract for these maintenance services, and Carlos Marquez is here to present the item.
Thank you, Mr. Fertal. The purpose of this report is to request that the Successor Agency Board adopt a resolution awarding contracts to Edgar Gonzalez doing business as Superior Construction and GT Construction Incorporated for on-call property maintenance services for properties owned by the Successor Agency. The Successor Agency is the owner of various types of real property, and as the property owner, the agency is responsible for maintaining the properties in decent, safe, sanitary, and habitable conditions in accordance with state and local laws and ordinances. Staff obtained 4 bids from general contractors to handle the wide variety of requests for property maintenance services from tenants. And the requests for bids included typical tasks that would be required of the contractor for the term of the contract and to solicit the contractor's rates for service and ability to perform the services during the 16-month term. And the 2 lowest responsible bidders are GT Construction Incorporated with a total bid of $11,500 and Edgar Gonzalez doing business as Superior Construction with a total bid of $12,000. The licenses and the bonds of each contractor have been reviewed and verified by staff and are attached in the contractor's license detail, which were taken from the State License Board website. And staff is recommending awarding the contracts to the 2 lowest responsible bidders due to the amount of work, tenant repair requests, and emergency repairs typically required every year. And having 2 contractors on call will ensure timely response and performance of required work during the term of the contracts. And the cost of the work will be paid by Successor Agency funds. And based on the foregoing, staff recommends that the Successor Agency adopt a resolution approving the contracts with GT Construction Incorporated and Edgar Gonzalez, DBA, Superior Construction for on-call property maintenance in the amounts not to exceed $50,000 each for a term of 16 months. And we just authorized the director to execute the agreements on behalf of the successor agency. That concludes the report.
Any questions, staff?
Yeah, I have a question related to this work. This is basically handyman, fix-it, whatever's required for these repairs?
That is correct.
What if they find or discover some significant problem, like electrical or water or something like that? Do they bid it out? Do they scope it and then bid it out? It probably happens very seldom, but what would you do in an instance where you had to provide some additional service or shop or trade or something like that?
If they were not capable of handling that size of a job, then we'd have to bid it out to a more
qualified licensing and everything else that's required
Right.
for that specialty?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think this issue came up because we weren't certain about the licensing of this person. We saw the amount of the contract and thought, what happens? Are they, properly licensed and they credentialed or whatever they need to provide the service? So in that instance, then we go through that specialty, that higher level of expertise to come in. So this is just getting back to this is just a handyman, fix it, keep it repaired.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Is that a motion?
I'll move the item.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters from agency members? Seeing none, we're adjourned back to council.
At this time, we'll reconvene to council. We'll go to consent items.
Mr. Mayor, it's recommended that items 6A through 6G be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion is requested by a council member.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item 6D, please.
6D. Could we have a motion on the balance?
So moved.
Second.
Call for the vote. Go ahead, Mr. Phan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Sorry, Madam Clerk. On 6D, it's more of a question for me to understand. I was reading through some of the synopsis, and I think the bottom line is we were asking for an increase of $65,000, but some of the numbers didn't match with what I was trying to read, so it's a little unclear to me. So could you explain to us exactly what is the bottom line that you're requesting? Just an increase of $65,000 from the base contract?
Yeah, it's basically a contract change order because we ran out of money on this particular contract for maintenance, and it's the biggest cost issue on it is cleaning the jail cells, and we're out of money. We need more.
Where does the money come from?
All of this is put into a fund, but it's a general fund account. And the fund that it's put into is jail services and has a package it's referred to on there, but it's all general fund.
Argument says there's no impact to the general fund then.
This particular contract, like I said, just ran out. We should have had it extended all the way to the end of the fiscal year so that we would have continued paying for this.
I think that says that there's money in the general fund for this use, so there's no additional impact. But you're right, it is still a $65,000 increase in the contract.
Yeah, I see.
But it's in the budget.
I see.
So is this because there was unforeseeable work that was needed and required?
It's a situation where the contract ran out before the end of the fiscal year. So in the budget, we had the money for the contract, or for the service, but the time limit on the contract and the monies in the contract ran out.
Yeah.
It's just a timing issue more than anything else.
Thank you, Bill. Move to approve.
You entertain a motion?
Did we move the balance yet?
We did.
Yes. Okay, and then you move on that one. Okay, call the vote.
Second.
You calling for the vote?
Yeah.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
The ghost of Dalton. Okay, let's go on. We're at items for consideration.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 9A is an award of contract to Engineering Resources of Southern California for engineering services, and Mr. Murray is here to give a staff report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Fertel. Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Tonight, the City Council is being asked to award a contract to provide on-call engineering and inspection services for the city's land development program. This service will assist city staff in meeting obligations for private land development project processing and subsequent inspection. These services are funded by associated fees paid by the development community. Typical tasks include plan checking and grading inspection. Staff received proposals from 2 qualified firms and rated the firms with respect to their experience and specific services offered. Staff negotiated a contract fee with the highest rated firm, Engineering Resources. Engineering Resources was determined to be the most qualified firm and offered the highest service as rated by staff for a not-to-exceed cost of $500,000 per year for 3 years, with an option for up to 4 additional years. Staff is recommending that a professional services contract be awarded tonight and to authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and possible extensions on behalf of the city. This concludes staff's report.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, if I may.
Please.
You said in the background there was 2 vacancies. That is basically making us have a shortfall of 50%. Wouldn't it be more cost-effective to hire 2 people to fill that position versus paying $500,000 per year?
We're currently working on that, and if we can do that, then we won't have to use a lot of this contract.
Okay. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Let's go to ordinances.
Mr. Mayor, you have an ordinance for second reading, and that's amendment number A 17314, which is ordinance 2836, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove establishing standards, restrictions, and requirements pertaining to the permitting and operation of cottage food operations.
Any questions on this? I have a question. Is this being forced on us, or?
Ooh. Mr. City Attorney?
In a sense, the state passed the cottage food regulations. Cottage food regulations established by the state will apply in this city, and unless the city adopts this ordinance, which regulates the cottage food operations more strictly than the state does, we will, as a city, be stuck with the state regulations only. So we don't have to enact the ordinance, but to do so provides the city with more control over these operations than the city would otherwise have.
Yeah, I remember that, probably 15 years ago, there was a lady that was making tofu in her garage, and we had to put a stop to that. And
now she can open it up again.
Yeah. You read my mind. Okay, need a motion on this.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second, call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, at this time, matters from mayor and city council members. Mr. Baird.
Yeah, a couple of speakers actually brought up some things that I wanted to talk about. One, that was the Drug-Free Coalition and the reality party that they're having. And it kind of coincides with St. Patty's Day. And so I just want to wish everyone a happy St. Patty's Day, first of all. But be responsible. You are a representative and role model to others, especially young people. And with that, that's my public service announcement for tonight, to remind people, drink responsibly, but have a good time. Happy St. Patty's Day to all. That's coming up. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, or mention, because it's coming up with some deadlines, was the Voice of Garden Grove. It is a competition that we have in Eastgate Park, and they are holding auditions on Thursday, March 27th and the 24th at Garden Grove, the Courtyard Center. Look online. Any service that you see here, you can look online. It's a great vehicle for kids or high schoolers to display their talents, and we have a lot of talented young people out there. And they offer prizes. This is all sponsored by the Garden Grove Community Foundation, which offers a cash prize to the winner. So I just want to encourage people, if they have talent, to come out. It's really well received. The audience loves it, and the kids are just a fantastic and very talented group out there. So look at those deadlines if you want to participate in the Voice of Garden Grove. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nguyen.
Yes, if you want to make Garden Grove stronger, buy in Garden Grove. If you want to make the U.S. stronger, buy USA. And don't be unrealistic and think you have to find everything USA made, because you won't. Try to find as many as you can and buy when you can. We have to start somewhere. We have to believe in America, and we have to believe in the American people. I think I'm going to start saying that every single meeting, because I think we forget that we do have American-made products, and we do need to support American companies. Also, we will have St. Patty's Day coming up, and I've been wearing my St. Patty's good luck charm so that I get good luck everywhere I go. And I think tonight we have kind of a good luck thing. Our treasurer announced we have a good budget report, so maybe St. Patty did a little bit of that. I'm just kidding. Thank you to the staff. I think you did a great job. Every year it gets better, and you did a wonderful job while we were down with the economy, and I think we're going to do better next year. And also, Garden Grove Pride, it takes me back to when I was a child, and my mom, we were living in this home, and my mom we just came to America, and my mom bought tulips, and she had a special order from those Burpees magazine. I don't know how she knew about that, because she's so new in America. I see a lot of people now don't know a lot of things, but my mom knew to make her house pretty. And we didn't have money to buy a electric vacuum, but she bought a hand one. And so we took turn every day of trying to vacuum the house and make it spotless where we live. So basically, I'm trying to get to the point is a lot of us, we live in apartments and we live in condos and townhouses, but we have pride of where we live. So it's not just the people with homes, and we don't want to exclude those people, because if we could have a program that can look out for the special or nice condominium projects, I think those condominium projects will be better looking in Garden Grove, and the people who live in them are mostly seniors, and they like to be acknowledged for putting the effort in making Garden Grove a better place to live. That's all, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks, Mayor. Just want to remind one on March the 18th at 6:30 over in West Garden Grove. We have a neighborhood meeting over there at the Next Level Sport Complex, so please come out and join us if you can. Secondly, on March 25th, we're having a blood drive here at the community center. It's at 7:30. I'm going to stop by bright and early before I go to work to give some blood, so if you can give blood, please do come by and do that. That's again on March 25th. And lastly, we heard about the half marathon for the Avenger race. Before that, we had the 5K, which we're going to have for the first time here in Garden Grove at the Strawberry Festival. So please come out and join for that too. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Just want to say, actually, it's the first time we're bringing it back in about 15 or 20 years. It used to happen a long time ago, so it's exciting to have that back. Just want to comment that we had a budget review earlier tonight, and I'm very pleased with what I saw in the budget, where we're coming in terms of actuals relative to what we budgeted before. I mean, almost 10% increase in revenues above what we had projected for this last year, and that just sort of opens things up a little bit going forward. So things are looking good in Garden Grove, and just happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone.
Thank you very much. One of our speakers tonight brought up this distractive driving, and I've often wondered why they allow people to smoke and drive at the same time. I mean, it seems to me you drop a cigarette in your lap, you'd be doing St. Patrick's Day dance in the front seat, you know. So I'm often wondered, there ought to be a lot of things that are distractive drivers, and there was one insurance company that gave a discount if you didn't smoke. And so I really think that there are a lot of things that could be, you know, I don't know how you enforce all that, but some guy smoking, that's pretty easy to see. Anyway, we had a storm here, lasted 2 or 3 days, and the lights were out on my property for 12 hours. And and I called the Edison company and on my cell phone, thank God for cell phones, huh? Because my telephone was out. And they called right back. I couldn't believe it. Boom, just like that. And they did have 3 or 4 trucks up there, but they had some major problems because that took them all night long to get it fixed. And it's just amazing to me that my wife had so many candles and so many lights. I mean, nothing that I ever procured, you know. I had a flashlight that didn't work because I hadn't replaced the batteries for years out in the garage, but anyway, it worked well, and we got through it. What I got a kick out of was that now my wife, she loves television, you know, and that television went out. There's a girl that goes to bed at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know. She was in bed at 8:30. Good thing those lights going out once in a while, I guess. St. Patrick. You know, St. Patrick was a young boy on the English coast, and he was a shepherd or something like that, and he actually got kidnapped by some Irish villains that went over there and got him and took him to Ireland. And, of course, he was a shepherd in Ireland for many years, and he learned the language and everything else. And then he escaped and went back to England. But he became a priest. And then they sent him back because he speak the language, Gaelic, I think, is that something like that? And he went back, and he was a major missionary in Ireland for years. And so I just want you to realize when you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day that he actually was an Englishman. And so, anyway, with all that, we're going to close this evening. I would like Mr. Wildsmith to stick around for a minute. I'd like to speak to him. So, thank you very much. We'll see you in, it doesn't say here, but it's 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you very much.